Welcome to another live episode of Halftime Adjustments. It's your host, Eddie Arnell, my man G Witt, Mr. J. Lou. What's going on, fellas?
Tighten up, baby. Tighten up, baby.
Tighten up. Back at you again. Uh-oh, let me click on here. There we go. Man, week 10. Titans come off an emotional win. I say emotional because it brought Cali to tears. We all saw it, man. He needed a win. And maybe we thought he's going to come out this week and do a little something different. Let's get into it. Cause I just can't explain it. I just can't explain it. Again, if you look at the numbers of this game, it don't tell the story except for the sacks that were given up. And we'll get into that in just a minute. The Chargers 27, the Titans 17. G-Wit, give me a couple takeaways, man, from this one.
Okay. One, no turnovers.
There you go. Starting off on a positive note. I like that.
No turnovers. Even though Will did have one fumble, but we got to see Big Lathan pick it up and scramble for about 7-8 yards. So
I thought he might have hurt his leg too. His knee.
I did too. In all honesty, I thought the defense, for the most part, I thought they hung in there. They just got worn down in the long run when they gave up, especially when they gave up that 95-yard drive. I mean, that just took all the wind out of their sails and everything. So I thought that was telling, and it was good to see Will finally hook up with Calvin Ridley on a long ball
twice.
He did a good job putting it out there. Even though Calvin Ridley had to wait on it, he did a good job putting it out there. He didn't overthrow him this time or get too hyped up. Actually, overall, I thought Will threw the ball well. Overall, he had some hiccups and everything, but overall, I thought he threw the ball well. And I thought the defense played well overall. Brownlee, I thought McCreary played pretty good, but in the end, the Chargers were too strong, and we're not a team yet that can overcome mistakes. And that's just where it is. It'll get there, I think, but right now we're just not there.
J. Lou, what you got,
yes,
man?
Sir.
You got for us tonight.
We gave up 1 billion sacks. We got none on defense. And I think that's telling that you couldn't get to a quarterback. I mean, he looked like the next coming to Michael Vick with some of his juke moves out there. A quarterback who's turnover prone if you can hit him. From that standpoint, I mean, he's done a phenomenal job. I don't think he's thrown an interception all year, and that Herbert is him. But I thought, I don't know if it was just me, but I felt like the defense was just flat from the beginning of the game. Like the energy, the level, it wasn't there. And then G Witt talks about we can't overcome mistakes. I'm gonna say we can't overcome momentum changing things. The non-strip fumble that they called back, I think that took the air out of the entire team, and it goes to what we've seen all year long. If you tie that to the mistakes that G Witt was talking about as the turnovers, a mistake, can't overcome that. They couldn't overcome that, and it just seems like it took the sail out of the offense and defense from that standpoint. I thought Will was okay. It's mighty funny. You gave up more sacks today than you gave up the 3 games that Mason Rudolph played. And I think the difference is Will Levis still does not allow the game still hasn't slowed down for him. There's a few times that he caused some sacks himself. I can't put it all on the offensive line today. There was one that good old Bud Dupree had where Latham had him turned out and Will drifted into where he was at. And then the commentator kept saying it. You can't step up in the pocket and keep stepping up and patting the ball without them guys coming back. So, and again, I think that just goes to show not that Mason Rudolph set the world on fire. He just knew how to get rid of the ball and not take the sacks. It was good to see, again, Pollard. I thought he was still strong. You can tell he's a little banged up and still strong, but it was good to see the change of pace back in there with Speed with Tajay. But like I said, overall, man, I really felt truly like the defense is the tone setter for this team, and I feel like they came out just flat from the first drive. And I think Callahan said it best. I heard him on his press conference afterwards. The Chargers didn't do nothing special. It was just death 1,000 paper cuts.
Yep.
They were just methodical with it. And again, they didn't really have anybody just to beat you like that. Murray continues to be a liability in pass coverage. Like the linebackers in general. Let me put it that way. Linebackers in general, and I thought they took advantage of that. But yeah, this was just one of them games where you can't blame it on time travel and all that because you're on the West Coast. It just looked like the team was not up to play today. And I don't know, maybe they came across the TV screen to me, but I text y'all at the beginning of the game. It was like, oh, it's gonna be one of them games. I just felt like they were out of it from the beginning.
I think the word today is prepared. They were not prepared. So this is what I took out of it. Levis is not the guy. He's not. Don't know why he was holding the ball today. Like you said, man, a lot of those sacks he can contribute to.
him.
Yeah. Holding the ball. Even when he took that big hit on the sideline, on the Titan sideline, why not throw the ball away right there instead of taking that hit?
Yes.
Right. The other sack he took on the other sideline, number 45, throw the ball away.
All the way.
He missed Wiley.
He did miss Wiley.
He missed Wiley on that.
That's when he should have threw instead of throwing the fade route in the end zone on the cornerback. A cornerback that's almost his same height. I'm like, golly. So we definitely the quarterback. I thought maybe it'd be different since he was out a few weeks and got a chance to watch, but no. I mean, it's the same old thing. We had an offense, like you said, J. Lou, that was moving the ball with Mason. Some, was doing a little bit better, but today it was like defense. And I think back to when I was looking at, in particular, this one play was Murray when Justin Herbert just shook him. I'm like, why? Where's his feet?
Yes.
When did Justin get feet like that? And he's standing flat-footed. He runs by him. So, this, I don't know if, you call it flat. I'm going to call it not prepared. That's what I'm going to call it because it looked that way. They had a great drive. The first drive they had was a great drive. And it just like you said, after that turnover was called back, like the wheels just fell off and they was like, oh man, here we go again. And some of the angles that were taken was poor.
Don't even talk about
the Justin Herbert touchdown run, the quarterback power.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like everybody overran it. It was nobody on the cutback. I'm like, what? Big Jeff got caught. I'm like, where is he going?
Mm-hmm.
He was still running that way when he cut back. So again, man, it's just and here's my last thing, and we'll move on. It's hard not to say tank when you traded for Jerome Baker. He's not even playing. What's the story there? I don't care.
Somebody got to explain to me.
Yeah, I don't care if Gibby is playing his best football, which he is. I don't care. Why trade for a guy
and he's
not even playing?
Yeah, not even playing.
Not even playing.
I mean, I don't know, man.
Well,
anyway,
I don't understand. I don't understand the fact, like you said, Gibby might be making some plays, but he's out of position more often than not. And it's really, I'll say this: I'm not so much upset with him because we know he's slow.
Yes.
I mean, and that's the reason why he's always out of position. It's not because of play recognition. It's just flat out because he's slow.
Mm-hmm.
And, regardless of how well he's recognizing plays, it doesn't do you any good to recognize it if you can't get there to make the play.
And so
and he can't.
When you come out, like Callie said during the week, we would never intentionally lose games. It's like I told you last week, G was at the game, and we was talking to that guy in front of us. I said, I'm not going to say it for sure, but it looks awfully funny.
Yes.
It looks awfully funny, especially when the play calling get conservative and you start running these little counter pulls with a guard tackle tray pull, and you keep running, and then you run a toss out of shotgun on second and long. I'm like, so again, actions speak louder than words.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to tell us that we are not intentionally losing games, it looks awfully fishy. Now, the crazy thing about this is, fellas, is they can still win the AFC South. That's what's crazy. But
yeah.
Anyway, so J. Lou, talk about the offense, man. What did you see beside the quarterback play? I thought, we had some opportunities there. that looked kind of good.
We did, man. We continue to have some opportunities there. And again, it's one. Well, first of all, the right tackle experience.
Oh my God.
I'm going to say that it's reminiscent of how we figured Vrabel ran his ship, where if you mess up, you're getting snatched out. They've got to just make a decision and stick with somebody. And I don't think it's going to be Mr. Watson. Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't think it's going to be him. Give Big O a chance, OJ a chance. Somebody. It's just that you can't play ring around the rosies merry-go-round at the right tackle spot because you don't have that continuity there. I, for one, was glad to see oh my God, the center position there. Brunskill. I was glad to see Brunskill at center. Because you need that veteran presence there, I think, to man that O-line. You saw him again continue to be strong running on the left side. I'm going to put an APB out, and I didn't see him on injury report this week, but where's Tyler Boyd?
He's out there.
No. I know he's out there.
You're right.
Where is he?
Where's his balls, his targets?
You're not scheming up nothing for him to be your target guy, and that's kind of weird. Again,
no targets today.
You continue to see your guy be unlocked in Ridley. We all go. Nobody's ever gonna come out and say it, but us three gonna say it. That D-Hop trade unlocked him because he's the true alpha there now. But I don't. Will, I have to agree with you, man. Will, as much as you want to try to give him opportunity, he's not the guy. You've seen it. Titans fans, we got 8 more games of this, unless he gets hurt, which I don't wish injury on anybody. But we've got 8 more games to sit here and yell and get rid of the ball. And again, he was. You like to see him slide today. He did slide. I thought it was great to mix in a couple of the design runs for him. Were actually decent in spots that picked up, big first downs or whatnot. But the offense is only going to go so far as he can read the field. And I'll be honest, G. Whitt, he took 5 weeks off? Was it about 4 or 5 weeks if you include from Miami game to now that he got to sit on the sideline. And I can't tell a difference in him reading the field because he's still there was a few times when they showed instant replays where he had some receivers. He still doesn't know what NFL open is. And that's the sad part.
Yeah. Eric, I agree with you, man. And we all do. The scheme is good. We just don't have a quarterback to execute it or a right side of the offensive line, right tackle in particular. But go ahead, G. Whitt.
I can't disagree with anything about it. I said it at the beginning of the season, and I will say this: I thought Levis came out pretty good, but again, on that, I would say this: on the second drive they had. I think it was the second drive. It was either the second or the third drive they had. They drove down the field, and actually, I thought, okay, we're in good position. That's because it was 7-3. At least we'll get a field goal out of this, if nothing else. Which then you had your right tackle implosion.
Yes.
It just and that's what I mean about. You got a team that just cannot overcome mistakes because he now it was a bogus face mask. I could see a hole, but it was a bogus face mask.
It was not a face mask.
And then on top of that, he jumped the very next play. So the bottom line is, then Cali, the first play call, he 2nd and 20, 2nd and 15, or something like that. The play call he had on there, he tried to run that screen again. I'm like, dude, they're waiting on that.
Yeah. No
so
doubt.
Again, on the third down play, at least he was smart enough. Okay, look, we just need to get in a field goal range, which I thought Tajay Spears did a good job. It's just our boy missed it. Yeah. And that's a shame because we were in better field goal range. Earlier in the drive, so that took points off the board. Again, I agree with you on the bogus strip sack fumble return for a touchdown. But I had a feeling they were going to overturn that one. It's just, again, losing teams just don't get the calls. We just don't. and let's be honest, Titans have never really gotten those calls, even when they were winning.
0-10.
You know you don't get it when they're losing.
I'm not making that stat up. The
I know.
The Titans are 0-10
on that strip sack.
On the strip sack or loose hand fumbles. Either way, it's went against us each way.
We never get that call. So, you know, it's just, and again, I agree with you. When they took the points off the board, I think they took the win all out of the season, especially on the defense. Even though the offense came down, I think if offense comes down, they ended up getting a field goal. But I think if they come down and score a touchdown, you know, you might see some energy pick up and everything. But again, I'm just gonna go back to what you guys said at the beginning. You know, the tank and everything. Like I said, I ain't agreeing with a tank, but I will just flat out say, and I say it all day long, we're just not a good team.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, it's just the bottom line because quarterback play is subpar at best. I counted at least. I think Will got sacked, 6 times today?
7.
7?
Mm-hmm.
4 of those were on him.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't dare to say they were all on him. Maybe except for one.
Minimum. I gave a couple of. Well, you're right because a couple of times he could have easily got rid of the ball and thrown the ball away instead of taking a sack, but he held the ball too long. You know, and that's what happens with him, especially, you know, like I said, things have got to go perfect for Will in order for him to play, and he's just not going to do it. Will, right now, you're looking at him, he might be a decent backup for somebody. I just don't know if he's going to be able to learn. He can't learn the game yet, and I think that's his problem. I mean, and you'll know it if random draft a quarterback in the draft, but I don't know who they would get. But he just
we do.
Yeah.
I think you saw him. But, you know, I think you saw him slinging that ball around Saturday night on TV.
Which one is that, Shakur?
Yeah, Shakur.
You know, I don't know. Hey, he may. But like I said, right now, you just don't have a good team, and I think the defense is telling you that too.
Oh yeah, I mean, you see it. You see
saying that too, in the way they're playing and everything. But you know, yeah. I put like this. Some things I just don't understand. We always say, we give the coaches the benefit of the doubt. They know more about football than I do, but some things just don't make any sense to me. And I still ain't figured out how Gibby is starting over the LB you traded for.
18 of 23 for Will today, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, 7 sacks, 7 carries for Spears, 47 yards, 9 carries for Pollard for 44 yards, and 5 carries for 41 yards for Will Levis. Yeah, 7 sacks. A lot of those he could have took off and ran, because he came up in the pocket. If you're gonna keep coming, you better go on and run.
Mm-hmm. He has no pocket awareness at all.
Oh man, it's crazy. Like I said, the numbers are what they are. 5 receptions for Ridley today, 84 yards, 3 for NWI. Bryce Oliver had more targets than Tyler Boyd. You know, so. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like, the scheme is good. Just don't have the players to execute it right now. Just a quarterback. Quarterback play is what's.
That's all that is.
Quarterback is getting this 1 for 3 in the red zone today for the Titans, man. 132 yards rushing for a team. 3 of 9 on 3rd down. The defensive side of the ball, man. Like I said, I already pretty much talked about it, but worn down. I mean, you can see it. The play, the gap fits, the angles. I mean, now don't get me wrong. The Chargers were a well-coached team. Fundamentally, they are sound. And the fact that, and I forgot to mention this while we talk about the offense, that we let Bud eat on us today.
Bud.
Molden, he was just he didn't make a lot of plays. Yeah, he had a few tackles. Even Hassan Haskell had a touchdown. I think that was like a eat this touchdown. Like
it was.
In your face. At that point in time, the game was over. Really.
Yeah.
So, but G Witt, what about the defense today, man? Anything else you want to mention about the defense today?
In all honesty, I like I said, it's just I think they bottom line is they gave up a lot of drives today. I thought they buckled down when they got inside the red zone on a couple of those drives in the first half. I thought, okay, but your offense couldn't do anything with the ball after that. So again, I just thought the defense just got worn down and everything after a while because it's just nothing they could do. Yeah, Justin Herbert, you would have thought he was Alvin Kamara the way he was running the ball today. I mean, he juked Roger McCreary, almost broke his ankles. And then also you see Kenneth Murray. I don't understand sometimes the tackling on this team. You know, they like you said, Eddie, they take bad angles, but they also there was a couple of plays you saw. I was like trying to figure out what Murray was doing, you know, and I'm not even talking about the touchdown catch that was on him because he shouldn't have been in that position anyway. But there was one pass on the sideline. He pulled.
It was to a tight end. Yeah, he
Yeah,
stopped.
he pulled a Michael Griffin. I'm gonna let you catch the ball, then I'm gonna just push you out of bounds.
Yeah, I don't understand that. He stopped for whatever reason. He stopped,
and I was like, okay, what in the heck is going on? Again, we go ad nauseum about Gibby. You know, you know, again, he knows more than I do, but I just don't see how Gibby is starting over the linebacker you traded for from Seattle. I just don't get it. And, you know, because his speed is the liability. It's the liability in the run game and the pass game because there was a lot of time he overran the play.
Yeah,
you know, and that's the same thing we saw with him the past couple of years with Vrabel here. You know, he would overrun the play or he wouldn't get there in time. You know, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. So again, but I'm not a defensive coordinator, so I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. They know more than I do, but I don't. I'm gonna just go back to my old standard. I don't understand.
Go back to and I'm gonna come to you, Jay Lou. I don't understand why we're not blitzing more. I saw a few today, but not a lot. It was a lot of 4-man pressures. Now, the reason why Kenneth Murray got caught up on that switch because they was in the match coverage. And so whoever comes in his zone, he has to take. It's just bad that we didn't have a corner on that side playing that third in that cover 3.
Yeah.
You know, but I guess they ran everybody over. That's the only reason why, and he had to go with him. So they actually caught him with a good play. You had to give him credit to the scheme up for the Chargers on that play because they know that Denard was running a lot of cover 3 and caught him in a match coverage where, you know, receiver crosses your face, you got to take him right because he's in his zone. And so, you know, it was good by them though. But Jay Lou, man, what about the defense today, man? Anything that stood out that you saw that kind of made you like?
So I got a positive.
Okay.
Forever, we've been talking about depth at cornerback position. I think it's solidified with Brownlee Jr. and Baker. Because you got to remember,
I like Baker.
That's technically our 4th and 5th cornerbacks playing in the 1 and 2 spots and getting valuable time. And you really haven't had them do anything catastrophic outside of the rookie plays that they got. I mean, I think we've all accepted Brownlee's going to get you a handful of penalties a game.
Oh yeah,
but he's also going to make some plays. And I thought Baker Jr. has been playing well the past few weeks he's been in there.
Right.
So I think that, again, not to look forward, but to look forward, I think that's a positive whenever you can get Snead and or Cheeto back and maybe slide. It's similar to how we always talked about NWI. NWI shouldn't be your number 1 receiver, but if you slot him properly, we see how he's acting now. True number 2, number 3 type guy. You get these guys slotted back to where they need to be, your 4th, 5th corner out there when you run some of those dime packages, etc. I think that helps out a lot because of the experience they're getting right now. I agree with you. We heard a lot about pressure during the offseason. And let's just face it, the front 4 is terrible at generating pressure, and we're not helping them with blitzes. I can't get over that. Now, when you look at it, to your point, we did that earlier in the season, and I don't know why we've kind of backed off of that, especially when your DBs are playing some good ball. I mean, you leaving them out on islands anyway. Why not generate a little bit more heat when, to G-Witt's point earlier about looking like the defense was just wore down, there are some times where the D linemen, just go back and look at the line. They're not even generating the pass rush. They're just going through the motions on some of those plays. So I feel like we've got to get – it's a toss-up. Do you draft a QB or do you go for a game-changing DN because you need a pass rusher. There's not one on this team, and so much as Harold Landry is not in that tier of elite. Like nobody, the Chargers didn't go in game planning today on how we're going to take Harold Landry out of the game, and that's what you're missing from that defense. But not to harp on everything that's already been said, but I thought that's some of the positives. Just look at the defense, it's just the experience that these DBs are getting. And again, I'll say this because I always look at contracts on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers gonna get paid, and I hope they pay him.
Yep.
You make some money as a slot corner, and we're finally seeing an entire staff this year that is purposely keeping him where he fits bit in the slot. And I mean, you saw it today. Now he got shook one time, but there was 2 plays I saw on screen plays that you missed the tackle. Right, you missed the tackle and he gone, and he just hasn't missed the tackles this year.
Not to mention the defended touchdown pass.
Exactly.
On that one too. I want to thank y'all for the questions and the comments in the chat. I'm trying to get to them as fast as I can.
Yeah, I noticed you
but James wants to know we having buyer's remorse on the GM and the coach, and also Snead. So I'm gonna say no.
I'm going to say no too. Because
I'm going to say about as much as he's having buyer's remorse for Caleb Williams.
No say it. No say it.
Yeah.
No say it.
No, I think this team was. I mean, for injuries happen. I think Snead's injury has been a blessing in disguise because the GM drafted Brownlee Jr., who you've gotten this done that anyway. I got Baker, and I think we all came into the season saying this team could be 10-7, 11-6 based off the quarterback play, or it could be 5-6 week team, 5 or 6 week win team.
It was all based on will.
It was all based on will.
So, I mean, you're in a position where you can make that one change next year and look like the command skins look this year.
Ed said he still believes in the defense, but starting corners out. Once they return, they will be fine. I think the defense is fine. They're just getting worn out.
Yeah, they're just getting worn out.
Nathan says we need that dog at corner. Been missing that since Malcolm Butler. If Steve comes back, that's it.
Brownlee's that dog turning into that dog.
He's a very physical corner. That's what we do.
He was
like
talking some smack today too.
Yes.
We need a curse in the draft again.
I don't disagree, Nathan.
We need a pass rusher. Unfortunately, Harold Landry's not playing until $85 million contract. And Jay Luke can tell you about that contract and how they can get out of it, and it won't cost them a lot.
His contract has an out this upcoming year, so it'd be interesting to see what they do on that because again, you took care of him because he was a homegrown one, but he's not that quality level of D. He's not a game breaker. I mean, you see him more in pass coverage still than you do rushing the passer.
Yeah, and it's bad really because it's just telling how you now see about there's no pass rush up the middle, so that limits his effectiveness coming from the outside. So that's one of the problems you have with him is just that with no pass rush up the middle, which we thought we would have. But again, if they're double and triple teaming the 2 tackles coming up the middle and they get worn out, it's just not a lot going on there. So and again, Landry and both him and
Key.
Yeah,
Arden Key. Both of them are guilty of doing the same thing. They're using their speed rush. They go out wide. They go really to the outside, and they end up
out the play.
Getting pushed behind the quarterback.
Yes.
So that's and one of the things you remember a couple of years ago, really before he had that ACL injury, Landry was working on spin moves and everything, but all that seems to be forgotten right now. He just like rushing straight up and not even trying to do anything to get to the quarterback. I agree with you about the corners though. I'm like Brownlee has impressed me, especially as the games have gone on. My biggest concern about him was his tackling, and he's improved that tremendously. I think when you look at it, him and McCreary are probably the 2 best tacklers on the team when it comes to tackling in open space and everything. But I think they've done a great job. You can tell Denard is a secondary coach because that secondary is actually holding up pretty well. You figured, Justin Herbert had how many yards passing? 100 and
it was 164.
164.
Mm-hmm.
You got 2 rookies at cornerback?
Yes.
You know,
Well,
I'm sorry. I mean, you know,
one rookie, yeah.
yeah. I'm sorry. That's actually pretty good as far as I'm concerned. If they're doing, you holding a quarterback again, a quarterback like him, you know, you're covering well, and to the point to where they were focusing more on tight ends than they were throwing the wide receivers. So I just look at that. I think the corners are doing good. It's the same problem we've had. You know, every time we think we got the situation fixed, it ends up being the same old, same old. Our linebackers are just horrible.
Yeah, and you traded away one of
You traded away your best one.
You traded away your best one. You know, which I get the move. I mean, you know, you're trying to you picking up draft picks. So, you know, like I said, I said this when they first hired him, and I've been saying this when somebody asked me about it. The Titans have, I think, they've shown some incremental improvements, just not enough. Will, like I said back in September, I don't think he's the guy. But that's why I said play Mason Rudolph. I thought it would do Will some good, and I thought it did at the beginning of the game. But as the game wore on, he just went back to old habits. Only thing he didn't do was do the stupid play to give up the ball or anything like that. So, like I said, no turnovers is the one positive you had out of him. As many times as he got sacked and everything. But yeah, he missed a lot of plays on the field. He still can't. He don't understand NFL open. So I don't know what's going to happen. And looking at Callahan in the post game, I don't think he's got it long for Will. In all honesty.
Wait, yeah, I mean, I think you saw today on the sideline he was shaking his head on some of those decisions he was making.
I don't think it's long for Will. I mean, you know, he'll say the right thing in the press, but I don't think it's long for Will. Like I said, and you know it ain't if they draft a quarterback in the draft next April.
It says Levis and Nathaniel. That's pretty fun. Yeah. Herbert 14-18, 164 yards, 1 touchdown, no sacks. Gus Edwards 10 carries for 55 yards. J.K. Dobbins 15 carries for 50 yards. Total for the Chargers today 39 for 145. And leading receiver today was Will Dissly with 5 for 30. 5 receptions today. Ladd McConkey had 2 for 52. So yeah, nothing major. They just drove the ball down the field methodically, and we couldn't get off the field.
Had him off balance the whole time.
Special teams, you got to give it up for your boy J. Lou. Stoney. I was going to say Stoney.
In my head,
we talking about Cody in a minute. We're going to talk about Cody stuff. Stoney actually had some hang time today.
He did.
He had some directional.
Yes.
So, Cody did something right this week, didn't he?
Stoney looked a lot better this week. Colt must have just been all in the punt team coverage and punt stuff. Kickoff, I just, for the life of me, we're in a dome. Just keep kicking it. You gave up again, and it goes back to the complimentary football. You had just scored. Did we get a field goal to take it? Yes, made it 13-10. Yep. You give up a 60-yard field goal. Kickoff return.
Short field.
I don't get it. I mean, every week you can count on the kickoff team. I guess we didn't have no penalties on kickoff this week, so that's
we did.
We didn't have them, but yeah, I thought punt coverage was decent. I didn't realize this till listening, and I guess because you've got a lot of returns, but Jackson is third in the league in punt and return yardage today, which is a shock. So, but yeah, the punt. Glad to see that. I actually saw it. I can't think of his name because I think it was the guy they called up for the practice squad as a gunner. But you saw a little bit different speed out there at the gunner. Yeah, Huntley. Which again, he was fast enough that he got in front of their gunner in order to draw in the back penalty that you should be able to get. So I'll give special teams. I'll give him a B- today. I mean, Colt still is Colt, but I thought overall, again, the punt coverage was better. You'd like to see Stonehouse getting some confidence back because Stonehouse is a weapon for your team. So that can only get better. And maybe this week we will learn to practice kickoff coverage.
Well, and going along with that, man, I would say this. I'm gonna say this. It shows a level of disrespect on your punt coverage when they line up only one guy to block your gunners. not 2, but 1 on both sides.
I thought
But
they
like you
were
said,
going
I
to bring
thought
some
Stonehouse
pressure.
did a good job with his hang time. The Gunners got down there, a couple of good tackles on everything. But like you said, the kickoff coverage again, it's amazing. It's amazing how poor the kickoff coverage is. It's like these jokers, they just don't get it. I mean, scheme wise, whatever, something.
If your kicker would kick it in the end zone, you wouldn't have that
You wouldn't
problem.
have to worry about it. I mean, that's
So, that's the
I mean,
issue.
that's the thing you got to get. You got
That's
to
the
get,
issue.
folks doing like, man, just kick it in the end zone so we ain't got to cover it, and save us some time. But it's just amazing to me. They cannot cover kicks. It's either way, it's going to be one way or another. They either can't cover the kickoff or they can't cover the punt. One of the two.
Travis White, man, thank you for joining us all the way from Alaska. Yeah, man, we don't understand why they don't kick it out of the back of the end zone. Sometimes he does, and sometimes he don't. Even when we outside at home, he kicks it out of the end zone. Even kicking into the wind last week, he kicked it out of the end zone.
Yep.
So
but
I'm not sure.
Stonehouse did a good job, man. I was worried about him because they did get in there on him one time, but he got the punt off clean and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay. And then I was like, okay, let me see how he punts the next time. And he actually did even better on the next punt after they got in close to him on the other time. So I don't know, man. Like I said,
53.5 yard average for Stoney today.
That's where we want him to be.
3 inside the 20. So,
but
that was good.
Like I said before at the beginning, we're just not a good team. That's all.
Jackson, 27-yard average on kick returns today. So, yeah, man. Got the Vikings coming in next week to Nissan Stadium. That's another good question, Will. That's another good question. I'm glad you brought that up because, Callie mentioned that when Will was in before he left for injury, and he's talking about how the clock is being ran down. We got to get up to the line of scrimmage. Blah, blah, blah. It's still happening. It still happened with Bruno. It still happened today. It still happened. What's the deal?
Again, so as the defensive player, it's easy for me to know your snap count when I know you got to snap it on one every time.
Thank you. That's so easy.
The problem. Like
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Will,
when we figure that out, we'll let you know. But literally, that's that. And you saw it. And again, what is like? Do you need to simplify it for Will Levis to be able to get it out to the team? Because Mason, you saw him get to the line with 15 seconds. That gives him enough time, and he's still snapping it within 5. That's enough. We were getting to the line today with 7 and still trying to run somebody in an orbit motion.
Well, that's the thing. It's got something again. I think in all honesty, I said it. I think it goes back to Will because you get the same guy calling the offense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's putting the play in, but for some reason, we got a quarterback that don't understand what he's saying. And I just think bottom line is, we've been saying it. It's just, the offense is not bad. It's just that we got a quarterback that can't run it.
Yep.
Yeah. And
I mean, that was the other thing on that drive, that second drive too. I forgot about that. You had a delay of game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, delay of game.
I mean, quarterback gets up to the line and doesn't even look at the clock.
Yes.
At all.
By the time he starts clapping his hand, it's 0. Like, dude, you way too late.
That's because you ran somebody in motion in 3 seconds on the play clock.
You got to snap it. You got to go ahead and snap it at that point.
I'm
go
like,
ahead and snap
this
it,
is
man.
crazy. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, man. I don't know what he's doing. Be honest with you. It's a crying shame because the arm talent is there, but man, he just can't get it.
He's got he's got the tools. He just mentally
the arm talent and the tools are there.
Off.
There's a mental block somewhere, and it ain't. I put it like this: he plays the game in a fog.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he had too many concussions when he was in college and high school or whatever or what, but he's in a fog when he's back there playing quarterback.
Yeah. And so, let's see. Travis wants to know about the reverse strip sack. So, Travis, we all thought, well, G. Wiz said after he looked at it, he knew it wasn't going to be in our favor, which is fine. It looked like that the ball was already coming out of his hand when he pushed it forward. But and I know you just joined, but J. Lou has looked up the stat, and anybody but him, right? 0-10 that has gone against the Titans. That's certain.
Go back to the Dobbs play against the Jaguar. It's the same play. It has happened against
every season. Has happened every season.
Now again, next week it's gonna happen to Will Levis, and they're gonna call it a fumble right in the stadium, and it'd be the exact same. But
you remember last year? It was Joe Burrow.
Last
year.
Yep. They said though that New York overturned it, not the official, because the official on the field called it a fumble.
He did.
And New York, they did ask for pool reporters afterwards, so the officials had to give a statement. And the New York, the vice president of officiating said that when they went frame by frame, it looked like he had control of it as his arm was going forward.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. It's not just it's bad enough they don't give it to losing teams, but it's something about the Titans that we cannot get that call.
Yeah, at all.
0-10.
0-10. And I mean, in both ways.
Yes,
either we call the fumble and we don't get it, or we get hit and they call it a fumble.
Yes.
And it's happened multiple times in the same game.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Ironically, you're right, Darius. It's still not over yet, because we can still win the AFC South. How funny that sounds, because that's just really crazy. Looking at the South, of course, the Texans are playing tonight. They're 6-3. The Colts losing here today, dropped to 4-6. We're 2-7, and the Jaguars 2-8 with another loss. Trevor Lawrence didn't even play today unless he got knocked out of the game.
I think he might be done for the year. Yeah.
Okay.
That AC joint is really messing him up.
Yeah.
So Vikings coming in, Justin Jefferson, Sam Darnold. We got a chance to kind of right the ship a little bit, I guess. But we'll
probably no Aaron Jones for them.
Probably no Aaron Jones.
He got carted off today.
He
got carted off.
So
I mean, it's crazy as it sounds, because I say this, and the Vikings will be world beaters next week, but the Vikings don't scare nobody. They did what they supposed to do today. They came back on a bad Jags team and won with all field goals.
Right.
But Sam Darnold, 4 turnovers in the red zone. I mean, he can give the ball to you.
He can give the ball to you, and we can.
Darnold is Sam Darnold, but you know how it goes with those tricky Titans.
You just don't know what side is going to show up. The team that's not supposed to win, or the team that's just going to say, "Oh well, here we go."
Right.
Like I said, a lot of it's going to come down to the fact of whether, okay, do we want a chance to win? If they do, they'll play Mason Rudolph. If they still experiment, you'll see Will Levis.
Mason's not. They're gonna give you lip service. Mason's not seeing this field again this year unless it's injury. Because
I know.
They want to do everything they can to say, okay, we know that he's not our guy.
Right.
You're right, Travis.
Travis right. He said, "Man, it's been over since Will said he need to figure out how to rewire his brain." You right. And he came back and said, "Come on, man. Come on, J. Lou. You know Sam will have a career day against us. It always happens. You are right."
Over like
that's a man that's been a Titans fan a long time. He already knows that we make Pro Bowlers out of quarterbacks. Pro Bowl. So, oh man, thank y'all again for joining us for another episode of Halftime Justice. Eddie out there, J. Lou, G. Witt. Titans at home coming up this week against the Vikings. Vikings 7-2, Titans 2-7. And like I said, man, it's this ironic. We can still win the AFC South. All the bad that's happened up until this point hadn't been officially eliminated yet. Figure that one out.
Yeah, it's coming. I'm telling you.
Yeah. If they keep playing Will, it'll be here.
It's coming.
Like tomorrow.
You know the Chargers, when they said, "Well, Will play on Sunday," the Chargers was like, "Yes, it's going to be an easy game."
Yeah. So
yes,
man.
So Will, bless his heart, he's just like I said, and I agree. Once he said he had to rewire his brain, that's the true testament. He's in a fog, man. He's in a fog. He cannot play NFL. He cannot think on the field at all, and obviously can't make football plays either, because like I said, that one scramble, I'm like, dude, throw the ball. When they showed the replay, I'm like, wow, it was wide open.
He was open.
I'm like, dude, just
he was
throw the ball to him.
open. He was NFL open. He should have threw it up because he got a little short corner on it.
He was college open, to be totally honest. He had like a step and a half on the DB. Like, just throw it to him. All you got to do is lead him.
Yeah. But again, thank y'all for joining us, man. Check us out next week after the Titans take on the Vikings. Join us for that episode, man. We'll talk about that game. We'll see what happens. The official not tanking.
Yeah.
Travis White said that man was high school open. That's funny.
He was. I was like, good grief.
Man, but join us again next week, man. Look out for the information from the show, man. Thank y'all again for supporting us, for joining us tonight. Frank said Chig was open on that play too.
Yep,
He was.
absolutely.
Yeah, had options and he just didn't let it go.
Yeah, he was. Chig was open short.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But thank y'all again, man. Join us next week. Halftime adjustments. We out of here. Peace.